Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are going to continue our chat about money. And also, today's episode will help with any sort of understanding on how to create something in this world, how to bring something that you're wanting into this world. But we are going to talk all about how to actually create money today. And I know there's so much information out there, whether it's the spiritual world or the scientific physical world telling you what to do. And there's a lot of information out there. So we're going to break this down to help you understand how this is actually a scientific formula to create money or anything in your life. Now, if you listen to last week's episode, we talked about a few different pieces, but I finished with saying that there is a formula to money, and there is. There is a formula to everything. And it isn't some woo-woo thing because we're actually going to mix both the spiritual and the science together to create outcomes. And we're going to break that down today. So let's start from the spiritual world that says, in the most simplest form, they have spoken about manifesting as you get very clear on an idea, you feel this idea, and then you let it go and it will come. And then we have the science physical world that says, work hard, do all these physical things, and you will hit the goal that you're going towards. Both sides are correct and incorrect at the same time. So we're going to break these things down. Obviously, you need to have beliefs and emotions to create a certain outcome. You also need the right physical steps to get there. So, for example, if you have $1 million idea, and you do, and it's in your brain and it is incredible, and you can make $1 million off it. If you don't tell anyone about it, if you don't build a website maybe about it to be found, if you don't go and have this idea built, no one's going to get the idea, which means you won't get the money. So that's the physical part, right? You're not doing the physical. So in the spiritual world, when we sit and think about this is all we have to do, we have to feel, and then it will be created. But we forget that there are literally physical steps that have to be done. Then it won't happen. There are two sides of the coin, and you have to put them together, and you have to know the right action to take. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about debt in a second to show you an example of how the right action will either give you debt or not give you debt. Like I said, whatever you're creating, for example, you want to create $1 million. You can't just sit and feel a bunch of emotions and then have it come if you are not taking the physical actions to make sure it can come into your realm. Now, you also can't go out and do a bunch of physical steps and bust your butt and do everything out there physically, but have no idea how special you are, not knowing your value and your worth, not knowing that people should invest in you, because that $1 million idea could be $1 million idea. But if you have these beliefs that I just listed inside of you, it is going to go on your electromagnetic field and it is going to block that idea from landing. So you have to have those emotional components, what I call ingredients, on your field. What I want you to think of is that this electromagnetic field around your body. And if you are new to this, please go back and listen to some of my episodes. If you're not, if you've been here for a while, thanks for sticking with me. But we have talked about this over and over again. And I really want to help you guys understand that there is just a formula, A plus B equals C. And this electromagnetic field around your body holds the ingredients that you are doing to yourself and believing about yourself. So on your field, those examples I just talked about, you could have every physical action right, and those ingredients are on your field. You're talking to the right people. You've built the idea. You've put it on a website. It is all ready to go. But then you go in front of somebody to go pitch this idea that needs to invest a ton of money into you, and you have on your field, I'm not special, I'm not valuable, I'm not worth investing in because you don't invest in yourself. And those go on your field. Those are called what I call sinking ships. ingredients, right? You have all the physical ones, but the internal beliefs are sinking your ship. Now, keep in mind, there are 8 areas of our life. We talked about this in one of our episodes. You may think you're special in career with this idea, but if you don't believe that you're special within family or within how the world sees you, which would be social, it affects the thing you care about. It has to be in all 8 areas. This is a big thing that people are missing. They go, I do feel this way. I do feel special about my idea. Well, you don't feel special in 3 of the 8 areas, and all 8 areas are going to talk to each other. They all are on your field. So when you go in front of somebody, if you have those missing ingredients, those sinking ship ones, the negative ones, the ones that say, I'm not special, that's on your field. So your formula is, I have all the physical actions, negative these actions equals nothing. You don't get the outcome you want. Maybe someone says, yeah, it's a great idea, but you know what? It's just not the right investment for us, which is pretty much saying you're not the right investment for us. We don't see how you are going to make our money grow because of the negative ingredients on your field. So you have to have the right internal build to create the external thing you're wanting. Now let's take the reverse of this. You have all the beliefs in the world. You have sat around and filled up your system with every belief. You know you're special. You know you're valuable and you are worth being invested in. But this $1 million idea that you have, you are just sitting at home doing nothing. You're like, nope, I just need to sit here and feel and broadcast and then let it go and everything's going to be great. Nope. You are now having those plus ingredients on your electromagnetic field, but negative, right? The sinking ship or the sail to your winds. But the sinking ship ones are, you're not positioning yourself in front of the right people. You're not in the right area. Maybe you need to be on YouTube so you can hit the right people. Or maybe you need to go out to meet people so that they know you exist. You may need to have a website. You may need to have to put this idea together so you have something to show someone. Those are the physical ingredients that either are going to be negative or plus. And if you don't have any of them, and this is, like I said, both sides are missing the fact that you need both. It is like our world, right? One is better than the other. You need both, plain and simple, and you need the right one. So again, right, the physical ingredients you are missing. So you have plus, 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 negative, negative, negative equals not the outcome you want. So you may have this brilliant idea and everyone's like, you're amazing. You're so special. You're walking around with that, but then nothing happens. Nothing is getting created in your career or money because no one can find you. No one knows you exist. No one even understands this idea because it's just in your head and it's broadcasting. So those are 2 examples of how you absolutely need both. And both sides of the coin have been wrong about this for years. The spiritual side is missing the physical. The physical side is missing the spiritual, the internal shifts. You have to have both. And for me, for many, many, many years, I had a lot of physical without the internal. So for the first few years of me waking up, I did a lot of shifting internally because that was the parts that were kind of a disaster. And then I loved that, right? I got to just sit around feeling and things came. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is all I have to do. I have to sit in my living room and just feel things and it just comes. And a lot of people in the spiritual world have this experience. It happens right away. It's magical. It's like, wow, this is all we need to do. But then there comes this point where it starts to go down. And you're like, why is nothing happening? Why am I feeling everything and nothing is happening? Well, you've shifted so much. You've grown so much that now you need more physical builds. And that's what happened to me. So it started to go down and then all of a sudden I was like, nothing is happening. I'm feeling all these things and nothing's going on. And I realized, well, I'm missing a lot of physical actions. So I started putting those into place because you have to think of it as containers, right? You have to have certain containers for the energy to go into, to come to you. And so for me, I had to create containers. And so I had to create more physical things for my audience, for the things that I wanted to come through. When that started happening, when I had the right physical build, movement started to happen again. So there is this thing you can ask intuitively if you are using your intuition, which you all have one, trust me. You can ask your intuition, is it a physical thing I need to do or an energetic internal thing that I need to do? Which one is it? And you can just insert and know which direction you need to go. Now, we're talking about money today. Money has a bunch of emotional, internal ingredients that need to be there, and it has a ton of physical actions that need to be there to create money, to pull it in, to make it grow, to make your money income, say you've been holding at a certain type of income for a while, to get it to the next state of bigger income, you need specific emotional and physical ingredients. And this again is where we get even more specific and why I encourage so many people to use your intuition, because I say you need both sides of the coin, and you do, but you also need the right actions and the right beliefs to create the outcome you're wanting. It takes the right intuitive action, right? Let's even break down career stuff, business stuff. So many people, and I have a business that I've had for 14 years, and trust me, I've tried everything and I know what works and what doesn't. And there are a ton of physical actions the world tells you to do, and none of them are actually going to move the needle. It's a complete waste of time. It's intuitively figuring out what's the right physical action to make the biggest impact. Now, on the other side, the emotional side, a ton of people could say, yeah, I feel special in, again, career or in friends, but they don't realize that they're missing an emotional fill of knowing they're special in family. And they go, oh, that doesn't matter. It happened 8 years ago. It doesn't matter. I don't need to think about that. Well, it's affecting your life today, and it is affecting the thing you're wanting. So in this area, not looking at the hidden closets that you don't want to look at. And trust me, it's not therapy. You don't have to dig it up and feel it again. You actually just need to heal it. You have to make sure you have all the pieces in all areas and there isn't some hidden area. Why I live and breathe reflections. And if you haven't heard that or know me yet, go back to the very first episode. That's where I talk about reflections, that everything is an inside out world. Why I use those is because it lets me know what subconsciously I'm thinking, what hidden thing I am creating that might be in an area that I don't realize. And if I clean that up, it adds a plus onto my energy field to create the outcome that I want. Why I don't hate reflections is because to me, it's the answers to the formulas I am trying to create. To me, I'm like, cool, triggered me. Great. I got the piece that I need to tweak to get the plus on my energy field to create the outcome that I want. And this is as simple as the world is. Now, it's complex, again, in the way of making sure you have the right physical things, the right belief systems. But this whole world is set up to help give you those pieces. And again, intuition will help you find them so much faster. And everything we talk about on this channel will help you find all these pieces faster. So, a great example of ingredients and being aware of, like, it is a formula. Great example with money. Somebody wins the lotto. Most of those people, if you look at most of the stories of them, on average, they win all this money and they lose it quite quickly. They do not have it for very long. And even though it's a ton of money, a life-changing amount of money, they don't have it anymore. This is an ingredient issue, and this is exactly what we're talking about. So we have these things, and I've talked about this in an episode, soul contracts. There are specific moments in our life, little anchor points, that we have a contract to have happen. So it might be a big job or something that brings in a ton of money. So we have this contract, great. All this money is going to come in. I just won the lotto. All this money is going to come in. And everyone thinks it's going to change your life and your life will be completely different for the rest of your life. But most people find that all of a sudden they lose that money in under a year, maybe 2 years tops, if that. And it's because the ingredients on their field, they don't have the actions and the beliefs to keep the money. The money literally has to disappear. It has to evaporate out of their existence because their formula doesn't have it. It can't hold money. There is no ingredient to help grow money. There is no ingredient to know how to invest money. Part of the reason why they don't have money to begin with is because they don't know how to invest it. They don't know how to build it. And getting a ton of money does not mean you're going to be able to keep it. And this is where I remember I could only get to a certain point, but it just kept going out and out. It wasn't building. It wasn't getting bigger. It wasn't turning into this, what I always say, your life doesn't get better, it gets bigger. And for me, it wasn't building. And so I knew there was something wrong with my field, that I didn't have the right actions and the right beliefs to create money to come in and get bigger. And the people who win the lotto are a great example of exactly why you need to know the formulas of things, because to have this idea that all of a sudden a ton of money is going to come into your life and it's going to change you for the rest of your life, just randomly. Sure, that happens because we have soul contracts, but will it stay is the question. And this is where we get humans stuck in these like loops. And the whole point of a soul winning the lotto and losing it is a soul lesson of knowing, I don't know how to use money. I don't know how to invest it. I don't know how to grow it. And it's obvious because I have all this money. I remember years and years and years ago, before I woke up, I had some money come in and I think I lost it in like 6 months. It didn't change my life at all. Nothing happened. It was great. I had a hot second of literally buying stuff and completely not knowing how to invest money and actually make it grow on a daily basis, how to embody confidence with money, how to know my worth, all these things to make sure that money got bigger, and it didn't. It just completely died. So this is a great example of a formula and knowing, do I have it on my field or not? We want to make sure, and this is why I've released a financial course. If you listened to the last episode, it is live. So I would love for you to join, because this was a life-changing thing for me to realize that I just needed the formulas on my field to make sure I could pull in the money I wanted, to make sure I knew how to make it bigger and not get depleted with me, to only grow with me, and make sure I'm set for the rest of my life. There is formulas to this. There are actions and there are beliefs. And if you have all of them, you will never have stress with money. You will feel confident with money. So if you're interested in that, there is a link below. I would love to have you join me. It'll be so much fun. It's one of the areas that literally changed my life. The most fun I've had. I mean, it was stressful learning all this stuff in the sense of embodying it all, but it was fun in seeing how life-changing money really is supposed to be. It's such a high frequency thing, but we're all using it so incorrectly. And so there's this way of being able to grow it. And it's such a measurement and physical way of going, wow, this is how powerful I am. And I didn't even realize it. So please look at the link below. I would love for you to join me on this. It's so much fun. If you are questioning if this is even right for you, please reach out. Happy to answer if this is the right course for you. But today I'm also going to give you a few pieces, 2 of them. There's 6, but I'm going to give you 2 of the ingredients of debt. We're going to go into that a little bit in the course and how not to even get into it and all of that. Like I said, there are 6 ingredients to debt. So 6 pieces on your field, actions, beliefs, all these things go on your field. If you have 6 of them, if you have all 6, you will have debt. So it does not matter. Literally, it won't matter. You can pull in a ton of money and no matter what, you're going to go into debt because you have the 6 things. If you don't have the 6 things, you will never have debt. And this is why this low frequency idea of just paying off the debt, you'll get out of debt. Well, guess what? So many people, and I know because I had this experience, you pay it off and guess what? Debt comes right back. And then everyone thinks it is their fault, that they are stupid with money, that they don't know what to do. And you're like, why am I just constantly getting into debt? Why can't I get rid of this? And they think it's something wrong with them and they don't know how, you know, that there's literally something broken in the financial area. But what's really going on is that they don't realize that they're embodying actions and beliefs that create debt. And if you have those, you will have debt. It will be a formula on your field. And no matter what you do, you will have it. So, for example, one of them, this would be an action, right? An action that you're doing. It would be shorting myself on what I need. Now, you might not be doing that in financial. You might be doing that in physical. You might, which again is one of the 8 areas. You might be shorting yourself on naps, food, time for yourself. It literally could be in any of the 8 areas where you are shorting yourself on what you need. That would be an action that you are doing that actually goes into the equation of debt. So it's one of the 6 ingredients. If you are doing that action to yourself, you are one step closer to getting debt. And this is why it's so cool. You get rid of that action, it gets rid of debt. It's crazy. It's fun. So remind yourself that, again, the action of shorting yourself on what you need. It would be in one of the 8 areas or multiple 8 areas. So again, you could, and I have this happen all the time. I've done this a million times with myself where you're like, I'm not doing that. And then you look in intuitively. I look in for clients and I'm like, you are doing that in social. You're doing that in career. You're doing that in spiritual. It's hidden, but it's there. So the second ingredient of the 6 is feeling like what I need is restricted. Now, how many of us have felt that? That is an emotion, right? So that would be a belief. That would be the internal shift. So the 2 that I just gave you, one is physical, one is how you act on a daily basis. One of them is emotional, right? Feeling like what I need is restricted. You could feel that in your relationship. I need my partner to give me unconditional love or give me support. I feel restricted in getting what I need. If you heal that you feel no restrictions in what you need, that ingredient goes off your field. But as you can see, an action of how you treat yourself throughout the day and a belief that could be hidden in one of the 8 areas, 2 of the ingredients of the 6 that give you debt. And this is why people go nuts. Again, like I said, you go and pay off debt and you think, hey, I'm going to be debt free. But you still have those 6 ingredients. They have nothing to do with paying debt, right? You pay off the debt all day long, take 5 years to pay it off. 5 years goes by, those actions, those beliefs are still going on. All of a sudden, you have debt 6 months later. Why? Because it's science and energy. I cannot stress this enough, that your entire existence, and I mean down to how people treat you, to things that you are physically experiencing, to physical things that you're wanting, it's a formula. It is how you treat yourself, how you think about yourself. Those things go on your electromagnetic field and it gets created. This is a non-negotiable. It is science. We are all energy. Everything's light and it creates. And if you have the correct formulas, you don't have an outcome. So there are actually formulas and actions to never have a expense happen, like an unexpected expense, like your car breaking down or any of those things randomly, right? All of a sudden we hate when we have to have like a $3,000 bill out of nowhere. There's actually a formula to make sure that never happens. There's actions and beliefs to make sure that that never happens. And trust me, I've done it and it's amazing. And it's very rare. I will check intuitively to make sure that never happens that I get these expenses out of nowhere. Same thing with debt. You can get out of debt and not have debt with ingredients. I'm going to throw this at you though. Debt, don't worry about debt so much. It's such a low frequency thing. It's like debt's the worst thing. Don't worry. And again, we'll get into that in the course. But I want to give you, those are 2 ingredients of the 6. Now, if you remove those 2 and there's still the 4 other ones going on, you will still have debt. A lot of people think, oh, well, if I start healing something, it should become less. That's not how it works. Remember, you have to have the full formula. So again, with what the example I gave in last episode, if you're making a chocolate cake, let's say you have flour and eggs, those 2 of the 6 ingredients, you have 2 of them, you won't all of a sudden have a chocolate cake. You need flour, right? You need water. You won't have the chocolate cake. You won't even get close to the chocolate cake if you don't have all 6 ingredients. So you have to actually get all of them for the thing to actually shift. You can't shift 2 of them and then all of a sudden think that debt's going to get less. It's just a formula. It's just you have to either have all the formula or none of it. It's not half of it, and then all of a sudden it starts getting better. And that's even more proof that it's just science formulas. And it's your electromagnetic field. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you see yourself. And if you shift those things, you can get the physical outcome that you want. And so going back to the very beginning, that is it just spiritual? Is it just physical? And the sides loving to fight one another. And even like the medical world thinking that sicknesses don't have an emotional root to it is insane. Of course it does, because again, it's both sides of the coin. And to think the spiritual world thinks you can just sit in a room and just feel all day long, but not do anything physical. No, it's not going to work. You'll be a monk in a cage doing absolutely nothing. So it has to be both, and money is absolutely no different. And like I said, in my financial course, we're going to break down all of the actions, all the things you need to do to be able to create money, pull it in, make it bigger, make sure you never have money get depleted, get rid of all those really, really frustrating reflections of money. Also, knowing your worth, knowing how to invest money. There's so much to it. It's going to be so much fun. And then all the beliefs under all of that. So it's all in my course. Please take a look. Again, thank you for joining me. Again, this is like one of my favorite topics to talk about because for so many years, my soul has been on a mission to understand how to unlock someone's value, like their true value, and make sure it's seen on a level that is just astronomical. And money and knowing your worth and knowing how to build it is a huge part of this. And it's just a game changer. And again, one of my favorite things. There's been things I've learned that is kind of like, yes, I have to learn this because this is going to help me, like emotional mastery. And I loved it because it changed how I saw myself. Everything has changed how I saw myself and realizing how powerful we all are. But money has been something really fun to know that most of the world has all this lower frequency information that won't get you building money. It will keep you in the same loop. And knowing that there is actually just a formula and it does not have to be stressful and it does not have to be scary and you don't have to hate money because trust me, money does not hate you and it doesn't want you to hate it. There's just so much programming out there. So thanks for joining me today. It's been such a pleasure to talk about money. We'll probably dive into more of it later on. But please leave comments below. Let me know how this all sounds or if you have any questions. And like I said, if you have any questions, if this course is right for you, please reach out. Be happy to look in intuitively. And again, thanks for joining. Thanks so much for joining. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, comment, or share with somebody that you know. I would like to reach and help as many people as possible, and I cannot do that without you. So I appreciate the support.